I want
she
to
has
talk
to be there
about
to
the
destroy the
pacing
stone.
of this movie a bit. That
Okay.
it's breakneck, but it's never unclear.
Yes.
And like, what a skill that is. That so much happens in this movie. Like, that synopsis is long for a reason, and like, you missed a lot of stuff.
I skipped like
Yeah,
all
you
the stuff.
have to.
Basically everything that happens on Earth.
and
I
this
skipped.
movie just moves, but it's never confusing. I never felt like I was like, wait, what?
Well, that's
Yeah.
because you have all the context. My wife was beside me. She's seen like nothing, right? Even the few movies that I've seen, she's been on the couch on her phone. Like, and so we're watching this, and I look over at like the beginning scene. Like by the time like Thanos is fighting Hulk, I'm like, okay, well here comes the punching parts, you know. And then
You
so
can
she's
skip it.
like, I'm really trying my hardest to care, but I don't know who these people are. So I was just like, okay, that guy's brother. Remember we watched this Thor movie?
Yeah.
He stole that thing from the treasure vault at the end. Well, that thing had this thing inside
Oh
it.
man, that's
And,
hard.
Your wife's hopeless though. She's never gonna like.
She's
MCU.
hopeless, but what I'm saying is like,
Well, but this one's
you
the
need,
hardest.
You
to-
need all
Yeah.
this context
Yeah.
because even though they actually do a great job of exposition, particularly when they get to Earth, they do a lot of things like Tony Stark saying, say his name again. Tell me his name again.
Yeah.
Thanos. Like, okay. And they say things like, the Avengers broke up. We're not on speaking terms. They're catching you up. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
They actually do put a lot of exposition in, but it's just not possible because suddenly they're in Wakanda. Suddenly there's this like scientist teenager. You're like, what?
I actually want to give points to the movie for that it didn't feel a need to like reiterate stuff. Like, this is the 22nd or 23rd entry in a franchise. Like, sorry, you didn't watch the other ones? Like,
Yeah.
F you.
Yeah.
Like, get on my level, dude.
They had to balance it. I think they did as much catch-up exposition
Yeah.
as they could, but then you're on your own at some point.
Totally.
This
And,
was one of the main criticisms I think that like the capital F film crowd had with this. There's a number of things we could talk about, but one of the main criticisms was that, okay, if we're talking about this thing's quality as a movie, as a film, as a piece of cinema, it's a huge weakness that you have to have seen not all of them,
all.
but quite a few
Yeah.
of like the 20 other films in the franchise in order to sort of have a basic understanding of any of these characters.
What a weak argument.
The New
What
Yorker
is-
put out an article that kind of got a lot of traction when this thing came out in 2018, and there was a lot of talk about that because there are a lot of people who like heard about Infinity War and they're like, whoa, this is a big cultural moment. Everyone's getting so excited about this. It's big. It's like the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if you haven't watched any of the exhibition games, you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know what the stakes are. Well, no, okay, maybe that's not a
It's
great.
kinda like being
I don't
like-
watch sports.
But
Maybe
it's
that's
like,
not a great analogy.
Okay, if you want to jump in on Wheel of Time and you start at book like 16, like, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
I think that's such a silly argument to be like, yeah, it doesn't make sense that I can't jump in on the 22nd entry.
Yeah.
well,
And like,
Wait, I want to play VR, but I don't know how to speak English, so I can't type.
I
It's
think
like,
that- I
well,
think
there's
that-
prereqs.
I think that
this
the
isn't just
criticism,
a movie. This is a series. This is the culmination of the series.
It's
There
true.
are many jumping on points. And like, if you haven't watched them, watch those ones. And like,
You can't fly to those heights
Yeah.
without kind of losing the bottom.
absolutely. I think that we have this understanding, right? As casual or hardcore or whatever fans of the Marvel universe and the franchise. But I think that the criticism is valid just because this is the first time that a franchise has reached this level of broadness,
the first time.
of breadth.
sure.
Yeah. But this is like the 20th, like it's like episode 20
Yeah.
of TV show that is made up of movies.
Yeah.
And that's why I said in my slogan that it's the end of cinema. People have called this the death of cinema, right? Because it's not really, these aren't really movies anymore. These are episodes. And this is the second to last episode before the finale of the season, like phase 1 to 4. You could think of as sort of being like 4 seasons, I guess.
I feel like it'd be 2 seasons. I
Yeah,
would do
yeah.
like phase 1 and 2 and 3.
I almost think of it as just one long season.
Fair enough.
And so it's not a film, capital F film, which is why I felt the need to give it an 8.8
enough.
instead of a 9 because it's something different.
Yep.
Martin Scorsese had his famous comment about these movies being more like theme park rides
Sure.
than movies.
And they're the best goddamn
Yeah.
roller coaster rides I've ever been on.
It's true. I don't like the theme park ride analogy because I think that calling it like a TV show is more apt. I don't think
That's fair.
I think that's more him kind of being a boomer.
I think I have a problem with that being used to diminish what they've accomplished.
Right.
Because like, this is pop culture. It's the same as Jurassic Park. It's the same as Star Wars. Like, you can take out of it what you want, but for what it goes for just being broad appeal, pop culture fun, this is the height. This is
Right.
probably the best just pop culture fun movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Do we all think it's better than Endgame?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know.